What's up guys? So until now all the videos I have made have been about me programming video games. So boring. But recently I realized that a big part of what makes a video game good is a good controller. Think about it. Would you rather play Mario Kart with a regular controller or with a freaking foot keyboard? Personally, I would go with the foot keyboard. So, since I have had this epiphany and I get really bored on bus rides and university classes, I thought it would be an excellent idea to create a mini Guitar Hero controller. So that way I can shred anywhere and whenever I please, especially in front of my annoying old professor's face. So,
let's do this!
Before figuring out what the controller would look like, I created a prototype. That way I could figure out the electronics and troubleshoot any issues that may turn up. This is to avoid building the controller only to realize it doesn't work at the end. So I got out my proto board, a bunch of electronic components, and started wiring things like crazy. For the brains of the controller, I used an Arduino Micro. This is because it has an ATmega32U4 chip. This chip allows us to turn any outside button input into a keyboard input. All I did was connect 7 buttons in a pull down configuration to the Arduino. 5 for the neck buttons and 2 for the strum key. Here you can see a diagram of what I did. Whenever you press a button, an electric signal will be sent to the Arduino pin the button is connected to. Having the electronics wired up, it was time to program them. The programming is very simple. When the Arduino receives an electrical signal from a button press, depending on what pin it is receiving the signal from, it will press a designated key on the keyboard. As long as you hold the button down, it will keep the keyboard key pressed. This is for the 5 buttons. Each one, when pressed, will activate their respective key. For the 2 buttons that make up the strum key, whenever you press one of them, it will press any key that is already being pressed. This way you can spam press keys very fast. Now, I programmed the controller to play Guitar Flash, an online Guitar Hero copy. Why not with the actual Guitar Hero? Since this controller is meant to be portable, not every device is going to have Guitar Hero installed on it. But they will have an internet browser. So no matter what device you have, the only thing you have to do is look up Guitar Flash on the internet and bam, you can shred anywhere. As you can see, everything seems to be working. Each key presses its assigned button. I could even say that the controller is complete. You can play Guitar Flash on any computer just fine. But we want something less ugly and more interesting and good looking. So I opened up Autodesk Inventor and started sketching out what I wanted my controller to look like. And of course I chose to make it look like my favorite guitar, a Kiesel X type. The idea is to design some pieces that would be laser cut out on a wooden board and then assembled like a puzzle, kind of like those wooden dinosaurs that you put together. Once I was happy with the shape of the controller, I created all the pieces that would make it up. Once I had sketched out all the pieces I wanted, I sent it off to a laser cutter so that it could cut my design into a 3mm board. And here are the pieces. I think they turned out pretty neat. Before gluing the pieces together, I had to figure out a way to fit all of this into this. I got one of these pre-made PCBs and cut it to size so that it would fit inside of the controller. I then started mounting all the electronic components onto it and started soldering them on. This is where I found out I had a little problem: the strum key. It was too thick. It takes too much space inside of the controller, making it big and bulky. And since I wanted it to be portable, the idea was to make it as thin as possible. The other problem was that the 2 strum key buttons were taking up too much space on the PCB, making it difficult to solder all the other wires without creating a short circuit and burning everything. So in the end, I decided to scrap the strum key and leave just the 5 buttons. I got a new PCB, cut it again, and desoldered the Arduino from the old PCB. Now with more space, I was able to solder everything in place without any short circuits. The only thing left to do was to finish the case. I put the PCB in as a reference to know how tall I had to make the walls. In this case, it was about 3 boards tall. I glued the walls and bottom board together, waited until they were dry, sanded them a little with sandpaper, and then with some spray paint, I gave them some color. First, I painted them green for the controller's body. Once dry, with some tape and paper, I covered everything that was in the controller's neck and then painted it black. Then, to protect the paint, I applied a layer of clear coat. Once everything was dry, it was time for assembly. I put the buttons and PCB in and screwed the top lid with 2 screws so that I could have easy access in case of malfunction. And this is the final product. Not too shabby for a first prototype. While putting in the screws, the wood split a little, but it isn't anything too bad. Using a USB to USB micro cable, you can plug it in into your computer and play there. But knowing that this was also meant for the bus, using a USB micro to USB-C cable, you can plug it in into your phone and play Guitar Hero practically anywhere. And that's it, guys. This is my first electronics video. I tried to do something new, so if you would like to keep seeing these types of videos, make sure to tell me in the comments and leave a like. If you would like to support me even more, you can subscribe to my channel. That's all for today, guys. Till next time, don't forget to do your homework.